Have you ever watched a magician perform the same trick so many times that you start to believe it's actually real? That's exactly what's happening with Rob Pelinka and the Los Angeles Lakers right now. And honestly, it's getting ridiculous how this man continues to defy basketball logic with his trade wizardry. Just when you think the Lakers are backed into a corner with limited assets and mounting pressure from new ownership, Pelinka appears ready to execute not one, but two moves that could completely transform this franchise overnight. We're talking about landing a hidden gem in the draft and potentially stealing a former Defensive Player of the Year in what might be the most audacious trade proposal of the summer. The pressure cooker situation Mark Walter did by the Lakers to collect participation trophies. When his group took over the Los Angeles Dodgers, they revolutionized everything from top to bottom. And now that same transformative energy is about to hit the Lakers like a basketball tsunami. Rob Pelinka knows the clock is ticking. Gone are the days when he could hide behind the Buss family's patience and traditional approach. Walter wants results, and he wants them immediately. This upcoming draft and offseason aren't just about improving the roster. They're about Pelinka proving he deserves to survive the new ownership purge. The Russell Westbrook disaster still haunts Pelinka's legacy like a basketball ghost that refuses to be exorcised. One more catastrophic move, and he'll likely never see another general manager position again. But here's the beautiful irony. That same pressure might be exactly what drives him to pull off something spectacular. Viktor Lakhin. The Russian Revolution nobody saw coming enter Viktor Lakhin, a 6'11" Russian center who might be the most undervalued prospect in this entire draft class. While other teams obsess over flashy guards and athletic wings, the Lakers are reportedly zeroing in on a player who could solve multiple problems with the 55th pick in the draft. Lakhin's journey reads like a basketball odyssey that spans continents and college programs. Starting at Cincinnati before transferring to Clemson, this Russian big man has quietly developed into something special while most scouts were looking elsewhere. The numbers are absolutely eye-popping for a player his size. 37.5% from three-point range. Let that sink in for a moment. We're talking about a 6'11" center who can legitimately stretch the floor in today's NBA. But the shooting is just the beginning of what makes Lockan so intriguing. NBA.com's scouting report reads like a wish list for modern NBA centers. Lockan has developed into a versatile big man. He's a smart and accurate passer, can hit threes and knows how to play in the post. On defense, he's primarily a rim protector, but can switch out on perimeter and not look lost. But it's the player comparisons that should have Lakers fans salivating. Al Horford and Lamar Odom, two players who define versatility at the big man position during their respective eras. If Lockan can reach even 70% of what those players accomplished, finding him with the 55th pick would be highway robbery. The timing couldn't be more perfect. With Jackson Hayes likely departing after his playoff disappearing act, the Lakers desperately need front court depth. Lockan represents a type of developmental project that could pay massive dividends down the line. The Jaren Jackson Jr. bombshell, while the Lockan pick represents smart, calculated team building, the rumored pursuit of Jaren Jackson Jr. is pure championship desperation at its finest. The proposed trade package is absolutely wild. Austin Reeves, Dalton Knecht, Maxi Kleber, and a 2031 first-round pick for the former Defensive Player of the Year. Let's be completely honest about what Jackson Jr. brings to the table. 22.2 points, 5.6 rebounds, 2 assists, 1.2 steals, and 1.5 blocks per game while shooting 37.5% from three-point range. Those aren't just solid numbers. They're elite production from a player who can guard all 5 positions and anchor an entire defensive system. For a Lakers team that's been desperately trying to patch together front-court rotations since trading Anthony Davis, Jackson Jr. represents the missing piece that could vault them back into legitimate championship contention. Imagine him alongside LeBron James and the reported acquisition of Luka Doncic. That's a big three that could dominate both ends of the floor. Memphis's crossroads moment, the Grizzlies find themselves in a fascinating position that could determine their next decade. After reportedly dealing Desmond Bane to Orlando for a massive haul, Memphis appears to be walking the tightrope between aggressive retooling and full-scale reconstruction. Jackson Jr.'s contract situation adds urgency to their decision-making process. He's locked up through 2026, but without an All-NBA selection, he's not eligible for a supermax extension. That creates a ticking time bomb where Memphis must decide. Commit long-term to a core built around Ja Morant and Jackson Jr., or maximize trade value while they still can. The Lakers' offer is intriguing but not overwhelming. Reeves proved he belongs on the big stage with his playoff performances and 20-point scoring average. Connect brings elite shooting ability as a rookie with tremendous upside. Kleber provides veteran presence and championship experience. The 2031 pick sweetens a deal but isn't the type of immediate asset that rebuilding teams typically covet. However, other franchises with deeper asset pools could easily outbid Los Angeles if Jackson Jr. becomes available. That's where Pelinka's reputation for pulling off seemingly impossible trades becomes absolutely crucial. The infrastructure revolution, what makes these potential moves even more compelling, is how they fit into the Lakers' broader strategic transformation under new ownership. Walters Group isn't just writing bigger checks. They're completely modernizing how this franchise operates. The reported plan to finally build a legitimate scouting department represents long overdue progress. For too long, the Lakers have relied on star power and location appeal rather than superior talent evaluation. That approach worked when free agents were desperate to play in Hollywood. But today's NBA requires more sophisticated roster construction. Lockan represents exactly the type of under-the-radar find that superior scouting can uncover. Jackson Jr. represents the type of star-level talent that aggressive front offices can acquire when they're willing to take calculated risks with their assets. The championship timeline reality LeBron James isn't getting any younger, and the addition of Luka Doncic creates an immediate championship timeline that demands bold action. These aren't moves you make to compete 3 years from now. They're moves you make to win titles while generational talents are still in their prime. The Western Conference remains absolutely brutal, with teams like Denver, Phoenix, and potentially resurgent franchises all vying for the same ultimate goal. Standing still isn't an option, and incremental improvements won't be sufficient to break through that championship ceiling. Jackson Jr.'s defensive impact could solve multiple problems simultaneously. His rim protection would allow the Lakers to play more aggressive perimeter defense. His shooting ability would provide the spacing that modern offenses require. His versatility would give them the flexibility to match up with any opponent in a 7-game playoff series. The stakes and the skepticism Bill Simmons couldn't resist taking a shot at Pelinka's track record, joking about the Lakers' ability to pull off extremely unbalanced deals. But here's the thing about Pelinka's tenure. When he gets it right, he gets it spectacularly right. The Anthony Davis trade, despite its ultimate cost, brought a championship to Los Angeles. This offseason represents another defining moment. New ownership expects championship banners, not moral victories or competitive playoff exits. Pelinka knows another Russell Westbrook-level disaster could end his career, but he also knows that playing it safe won't satisfy Walters' championship expectations. The combination of smart draft strategy with Lockan and aggressive trade pursuit of Jackson Jr. represents exactly the type of balanced approach that successful franchises employ. Find value where others don't look, but don't hesitate to pay premium prices for premium talent when championship windows are wide open. The magic act continues. Whether these moves actually materialize remains to be seen, but one thing is crystal clear. The Lakers under new ownership refuse to accept mediocrity. They're swinging for championships, and the rest of the league should be taking notes on how aggressive franchise management can transform a roster overnight. Pelinka's reputation as a trade magician isn't built on luck. It's built on understanding market inefficiencies and capitalizing on other teams' mistakes. If he can land Lockan in the second round and somehow pry Jackson Jr. away from Memphis, we might be witnessing the most impressive offseason transformation in recent NBA history. The Lakers' master plan is becoming clearer with each passing day, and honestly, it's both terrifying and magnificent to watch unfold. What are your thoughts on these potential moves? Could Lockan be the steal of the draft? And would landing Jaren Jackson Jr. make the Lakers instant championship favorites? Drop your predictions in the comments and hit that like button if you're as fascinated as I am by Pelinka's latest magic trick.